The book of Job, chapter 21, verse 1, Job 21 and 1. Job, the 21st chapter and the first verse. Job answers. Then Job answered, listen to what I say. Let this be your way of comforting me. Be patient while I speak. And after I finish speaking, you may make fun of me. I think that's the wrong one. I think we're supposed to be in 22. That is correct. So let's go to 22. Job chapter 22, verse 1. We already read verse 20, chapter 21. All right, Job chapter 22, verse 1. Eliphaz answers Job. Then Eliphaz from Teman answered, does God need our help? Even the wisest of us is not really useful to him. Does your living right benefit him? Does God all-powerful gain anything if you follow him? Why does God blame and punish you? Is it because you worship him? No, it's because you sin so much. You never stop sinning. Maybe to guarantee loans, you took things from people for no reason. Maybe you took a poor man's clothes to make sure he paid you back. Maybe you failed to give water, food to people who were tired or hungry. You have a lot of farmland and people respect you, but maybe you sent widows away without giving them anything. And maybe you took advantage of orphans. This is why traps are all around you and sudden trouble makes you afraid. That's why it's so dark and you cannot see, and why a flood of water covers you. God lives in the highest part of heaven and looks down on the highest stars. But you might say, what does God know? Can he see through the dark clouds to judge us? Thick clouds hide us from his eyes, so he cannot see us as he walks around the edge of the sky. Job, you're walking on the old path that evil people walked on long ago. Lord, he called a man evil. They were destroyed before it was their time to die. They were washed away by the flood. They told God, leave us alone, and said, God all-powerful cannot do anything to us. And it was God who filled their houses with good things. No, I would never follow the advice of evil people. Those who do what is right are happy to see them destroyed. The innocent laugh at them and say, surely our enemies are destroyed. Their wealth is burned up in the fire. Now, Job, give yourself to God and make peace with him. I guess he's saying the man's not saved. Do this and you get so many good things. Accept his teaching. Pay attention to what he says. If you return to God all-powerful, you'll be restored, but remove the evil from your house. Think of your gold as nothing but dirt. Think of your finest gold as rocks from a stream, and let God all-powerful be your gold. Let him be your pile of silver. Then you'll enjoy God all-powerful, and you'll look up to him. When you pray, he'll hear you, and you'll be able to do all that you promised him. If you decide to do something, it'll be successful, and your future will be bright. When people are brought down and you ask God to help them, he will rescue those who've been humble. Even those who are guilty will be forgiven. They'll be saved because you did what was right. Job answers, Job 23. Then Job answered, I'm still complaining today. I groan because God is still making me suffer. I wish I knew where to find him. I wish I knew how to go where he lives. I'd present my case to him. I would make my arguments to show that I'm innocent. He could give his response and I'd understand. I would listen closer to what he says. Would God use his power against me? No, he would listen to me. Since I'm an honest man, he would tell me my story. Then my judge would set me free. If I go to the east, God is not there. If I go to the west, I still don't see him. When he's working in the north, I don't see him. When he turns to the south, I still don't see him. But God knows me. He's testing me and will see that I'm as pure as gold. I've always lived the way God wants. I've never stopped following him. I always obey his command. I love the words from his mouth more than I love food. But God never changes. Who can stand against him? He does anything he wants. He'll do to me what he planned. And he has many other plans for me. That's why I'm terrified to stand before him. Just thinking about it makes me afraid. The fear of God has always made me lose my courage. God all-powerful makes me afraid. What has happened to me is like a dark cloud over my face, but the darkness will not keep me quiet. Job 24. Why doesn't God all-powerful set times for judgment? And why can't his followers know when those times will be? People move property markers to get more of their neighbor's land. People steal flocks and lead them to other grasslands. They steal a donkey that belongs to an orphan. They take a widow's cow until she pays what she owes them. They take a nursing baby from his mother. They take a poor person's child to guarantee a loan. They force the poor to move out of their way to get off the road. The poor are like wild donkeys that go out to the desert to find food. From morning to night, they work to gather food for their children. They have to work in the fields, harvesting grain. They work for the rich, gathering grapes in their vineyards. They must sleep all night without clothes. They have no covers to protect them from the cold. They're soaked with the rain in the mountains. They stay close to the large rocks for shelter. They have no clothes, so they work naked. They carry piles of grain for others, but they go hungry. They press out olive oil and walk on grapes in the wine press, but they have nothing to drink. In the city, you can hear the sad sounds of dying people. Those who are hurt cry out for help, but God does not listen. Some people rebel against the light. They don't know what God wants. They don't live the way he wants. A murderer gets up at dawn and kills poor, helpless people, and at night he becomes a thief. A man who commits adultery waits for the night to come. He thinks, No one will see me, but still he covers his face. When it's dark, evil people go out and break into houses, but during the day, they lock themselves in their homes to avoid the light. The darkest night is their morning. They are friends with the terrors of darkness. You say evil people are taken away like things carried away in a flood. The land they own is cursed, so no one goes to work in the vineyards. As hot, dry weather melts away the winter snow, so the grave takes away those who've sinned. Their own mothers will forget them. Only worms will want them. No one will ever remember them. They will be broken like a rotten stick. These evil people hurt women and have no children to protect them. They refuse to help widows. By his power, God removes the powerful. Even if they have a high position, they can't be sure of their lives. They might feel safe and secure, but God is watching how they live. They might be successful for a while, but then they'll be gone like everyone else. They'll be cut down like grain. I swear these things are true. Who can prove that I lied? Who can show that I'm wrong? Job chapter 25, Bildad answers Job. Then Bildad from Shua answered, God is the ruler. He makes people fear and respect him. He keeps peace in his kingdom above. No one can count his stars. His sun rises on all people. How can anyone claim to be right before God? No human being can really be pure. In God's eyes, even the moon is not pure and bright. Even the stars are not pure. People much less pure. They're like maggots, as worthless as worms. Lord, he called the man a maggot. Job chapter 26. Job answers Bildad. Then Job answered, Bildad, what a great help you are to this tired, weary man. You've really supported me. You've given such wonderful advice to this foolish man. You provided so much useful information. Who helped you to say these things? Whose spirit inspired you to speak? The ghosts and their neighbors in the underworld shake with fear, but God can clearly see that place of death. Death isn't hidden from God. God stretched the northern sky over empty space. He hung the earth on nothing. He fills the thick clouds with water. He does not let its heavy weight break the clouds open. He covers the face of the full moon. He spreads his clouds over it and hides it. He drew the horizon on the ocean like a circle where the light and darkness meet. The foundations that hold up the sky shake with fear when God threatens them. With his own power, God calmed the sea. With his wisdom, he destroyed Rahab. His breath made the skies clear. His hand destroyed the snake that tried to get away. There's only a few of the amazing things that God has done. We hear only a whisper of God's thundering power. Job continues, Job chapter 27. Job continued his answer. God all-powerful has been unfair to me. He's made my life bitter, but I swear by his life as long as I have life in me, as long as breath from God is in my nostrils. I will not be a hypocrite. I will not lie. You will never hear me say you men are right until the day I die. I will not be untrue to myself. I will hold on to my innocence and never let go. My conscience will always be clear. May my enemies be punished like those who are evil. May those who stood against me end up like all who've done wrong. What hope do people without God have when it's time to die, when God takes their life away, when they have troubles and cry out for help? God will not listen to them. It will be too late for them to enjoy talking with God all-powerful. They should have prayed to God all the time. I'll teach you about God's power. I won't hide anything about God all-powerful, but you've seen it all with your own eyes. So why do you say such useless things? Here's what God has planned for those who are evil. This is what cruel people will get from God all-powerful. They have many children, but all of them will be killed in war. Of their children, or their children will not have enough to eat. All those who are left to die, and widows will not even cry for them. Evil people will collect silver as easily as dirt. They may have so many clothes that they're piled up like clay, but their piles of clothes will be worn by those who've lived right. All that silver will be given to those who've done no wrong. Evil people might build houses, but they will not last long. They'll be like a spider's web or a guard's tent. Excuse me. They might be rich when they go to bed, but when they open their eyes, all the riches will be gone. Terrible fears will come over them like a flood, like a storm in the night that blows everything away. The east wind will carry them away and they'll be gone. The storm will sweep them out of their homes. They may try to run away from the power of the storm, but it will come down on them without mercy. It will make a sound like clapping hands as they run away. It will whistle at them as they run from their homes. Did this man just curse all his enemies? Job 28, the value of wisdom. There are mines where people get silver and places where people melt gold to make it pure. Iron is dug out of the ground and copper is melted out of the rocks. Miners carry lights deep into caves to search for these rocks in the deepest darkness. Far from where people live, they dig deep into the ground, down where no one else has been before. There they work all alone, hanging from ropes. Food grows on the ground above, but underground it is different. It's as if everything were melted by fire. In the rocks there are sapphires and grains of pure gold. Wild birds know nothing about the way of these places. No falcon has ever seen it. Wild animals have never been there. Lions have not traveled that way. Miners dig the hardest rocks. They dig away at the mountains and make them bare. They cut tunnels through the rocks and see all the treasures they hold. They even find places where rivers begin. They bring to light what was once hidden. But where can anyone find wisdom? Where can we get understanding? People don't know where wisdom is. It can't be found by anyone on earth. The deep ocean says, it's not here with me. The sea says, it's not here with me. You cannot buy wisdom even with the purest gold. There's not enough silver in the world to pay for it. You cannot buy it with gold from Ophir, with the precious onyx of sapphires. Wisdom is worth more than gold or crystal. It cannot be bought with expensive jewels set in gold. Joe, what are you saying? You're supposed to be responding to these people, and you've gone off on the deep end here. We don't even know what you're talking about. Okay. It's far, I guess he's talking out of his grief and sorrow and pain. It's far more valuable than coral and jasper, more precious than rubies. The topaz from Ethiopia cannot match its value, which is greater than the purest gold. So where does wisdom come from? Where can we find understanding? Wisdom is hidden from every living thing on earth. Even birds in the sky can't see it. Death and destruction say, we've never seen wisdom. We've only heard rumors about it. Only God knows the way to wisdom. Only he knows where wisdom is. He can see to the very ends of the earth. He sees everything under the sky. Now, you've lost all your children, your business. Your wife told you to curse God and die, and you going off about the sky, the earth, and gold and silver and diamonds. Poor thing, his mind is gone. God gave the wind his power. He decided how big to make the oceans. He decided where to send rain and where the thunderstorms should go. He looked at wisdom and discussed it. He examined it and saw how much it is worth. Then he said to humans, to fear and respect the Lord is wisdom. Turn away from evil is understanding. Okay, this is the word of the Lord. I don't know what direction Job is going. He's just gone off on a tangent in a deep end. And I guess his friends have upset him so till he's just lost it. He's talking about tunnels and mines and the sky and the oceans and wisdom and everything else. But this is the word of the Lord. Make sure you follow, like, share, and subscribe, and encourage others to join in with us. Make sure you put in the comment section, this is the word of the Lord. And tell us what you think about Job going off on a tangent here. Him and his friends having this bad argument that's been lasting the last few days.